Hi, I'm Joshua Curvin, and welcome to another Death Battle prediction video. But first, we have Leonardo versus Jason. So that one went kind of as I expected. They did end up kind of lowballing the characters a little bit, which overall it's okay. The fight animation was pretty solid. They actually did end up giving Leonardo a lot of the more circumstantial equipment that he's had, like the portal creating sword and things like that he's only really had a couple times throughout certain series. But yeah, it more or less went as expected. Unfortunate now that Soul Calibur currently has the worst record, which will hopefully change considering I'm assuming the next Soul Calibur fight will probably be Spinal versus Cervantes. Which, yeah, the Cervantes wrecks his shit with, there's like a town level storm creation feat, like a massively hypersonic lightning movement in tandem feat. But yeah, hopefully that happens soon. But on to the topic of people with really, really, really bad records for fighting. We have the current fight, which is Genos against War Machine. War Machine doesn't have a particularly bad record. It's more Genos. Though, ironically, he doesn't actually have as bad of a record as you would think. People talk like he loses literally every fight he's in, but no, he actually has plenty of wins. So this one is pretty clear-cut. The animation actually looks really good so far. It's the same people who did The Mask versus Deadpool, so it's going to be really interesting to see them do a more actually combat-heavy fight, because The Mask versus Deadpool was pretty much just straight comedy for most of it. In terms of the actual fight itself, it is a little bit more on the straight-up basic side. Speed is more or less even. Genos does scale to people like Flashy Flash, by virtue of having fought Speed of Sound Sonic, who fought Flashy Flash. And then for Rhodey, he basically just scales to Iron Man. That's going to come up a lot for Rhodey because of the fact that just how frequently Rhodey has fought alongside, against, or replaced Iron Man in Marvel Comics history. So it is clear that he is comparable to him. So for power, that actually makes it end up coming out to about like a multi-continent level, via some of Iron Man's feats that are in armors that he's worked alongside Rhodey in. So he's also not only comparable to Iron Man, it is pretty consistent, because he has been shown to be comparable to people like Carol Danvers, Wonder Man, and Red Hulk. So basically, if you give Genos and Rhodey the similar scaling, then it ends up that War Machine just kind of comes ahead in every way, except for potentially the speed, like I said, though there are more FTL feats in Marvel that you could probably scale him to anyway, so it does end up kind of being much more in War Machine's favor, even when it comes to just hacks. For the big weakness for War Machine is that his armors run on a battery life, essentially, so he does need to make sure that he doesn't go over and lose power to his suits. But to compensate for that, he can take energy from other electronics or energy that's fired at him. That's kind of one of the big things here, is that anything Genos is doing is going to be keeping War Machine charged. So that kind of makes it, he doesn't really have a win condition. The only win condition that he would have is to literally avoid everything, never try to hit him, and even then, he wouldn't really have the damage output necessary to actually do anything to him. And then you have just some of the general hacks that War Machine has. Like, so he already has the energy absorption, but he can also do electromagnetic pulses, which would negate Genos pretty damn well. And then there is a more situational hacks that he had in, I believe it was Iron Man 2.0 and Iron Patriot. He had functionality for his suit, one that gave camouflage, and one that gave intangibility. One it's called Ghost Mode. That's something that totally messed with me, because you always think that they would be like very technology associated, and technology doesn't usually allow intangibility. If he's given those suit modes, then Genos won't know where he is, won't actually be able to physically interact with him. So it would be like his ultimate attacks would go off and he would just walk through it. Not that he can't do that anyway, but... So it ultimately does come down to being a fairly basic, straightforward fight. Unfortunate that One Punch Man will not be joining the exclusive club that is people with more than one win and all wins for their series. There's only 5 series that are in that. There used to be 6, one of which was Ninja Turtles. And they're out of it now. So now we just have Metal Gear, Kirby, Godzilla, King of Fighters, and... what was the last one? Avatar. So those 5 are currently the only ones in there, and if Genos had won this, then One Punch Man would be up with it too, but unfortunately not. Right, well, I will see you guys for the next one. We haven't really gotten any hints or anything as to what is going to be, so I'm not entirely sure what we're going to be getting. So I will see you guys when we find that out. Though these 2-week intervals are giving me a lot less time to look into things than I would normally like, but I usually just ended up doing them on the last day anyway, so here we are. Alright, I'll see you guys for the next one.